or fast food. There comes a time in every man's life, in every woman's life, where what drives you shifts and you become a different person. And you start recognizing that we are in some sort of evolutionary leap here that's not limited towards mere biology. It's a spiritual evolution. It's an independent individual evolution as well as a collective, but in the end, your free will is only responsible, you are only responsible for your own choices. We are all here, brothers and sisters, my friends, new viewers, old viewers, to realize why we're here, to walk the right path in this life, to not participate with this darkness, to provide love and joy wherever we go. Let's go back to this whole conversation that I started the show with about people's perceptions about people in other states and cities. For the most part here in Texas, people don't know very many people from Oregon. So they just don't know. Portland doesn't have a major sports team, so it's just kind of, they know it's pretty up here, but that's about it. Now, from Portland's perspective, so I've gotten a lot of feedback from Facebook and others, I would say a great number of people question my mental sanity. Or maybe some people that are not fully up to speed here probably thought I sold out simply because I moved from Oregon to Texas. I really started to realize a couple months ago how pretentious, I already knew Portland was pretentious, but how pretentious it can really be when people think that people from other states are more stupider than they are. Now, there are comparisons between Portland and Texas, and in a way, Portland is a lot more livable. There are a lot of people that are emotionally shut down in this area, in Texas, but not everyone. It's more of a conditioning. I think there's a lot of beautiful souls here, but they kind of need some encouragement to come outside the box. Kind of a familiar theme, don't you think? Someone to tell them that it's safe to come out. So they can come out of the box outside of the house like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, and say, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm going to be who I'm going to be. I'm not worried about what you think about me or what repercussions or anything from my peer pressure group. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not your slave anymore. And that's the real internal revolution, independent individual revolution that we need to see all over the world, in every country, in every language, people being who they really are. So I would say to those that view people in Texas as retarded, toothless rednecks, that you need to think outside the box and learn a little bit more about geography. Dallas certainly is a financial hub, but there's a lot of people that have come here with amazing video production skills because it's a nexus. It's a vortex. Just like Portland's a vortex, it's a vortex for some people that want to get something done. People aren't all greedy here. There's a lot of people that are hardworking, that work every day. In fact, there are more jobs here than in Portland, Oregon. And I have yet to come across my first real Texas, hay in the mouth type of redneck that go, boy, you ain't from around here. I was pulled over by the Hickory Creek, I'm not sure what it's called, police. I live in an area where there's many different jurisdictions coming together. And he was the closest. I made the mistake of calling the officer dude. I'm not a dude, sir. But for the most part, I've met people that are just people. And I've realized that I myself had to get outside the box. I myself, because I love Portland so much, I had experienced something else in order to grow and become stronger. See, for a while there, I was living in some sort of a delusion. Some of you saw that on TV. I really thought that my job was to protect Portland from all these outside forces. Be they Chinese invaders, World War III, New World Order, black helicopters, perverted mayors that want to take your money and do what they want to do with it. As Mayor Adams goes to China for these trade talks, you'll see what's going to result from that. Giddy up, I'm not kidding. But I really thought that was me, that Alex Ansary was defender of Portland, Oregon, dun-da-doo, and all the bells and whistles, and we're going to go down together, and we're going to have a great, and then it was like the vision on the mountain. we're all going to be placed where we need to be placed as these coming changes come into manifestation, come to fruition. And I'm not supposed to be inside the box of merging my own personal identity with Portland, Oregon. In fact, I'm supposed to be moving away from even the identity of just merely being Alex Ansary. These are names. I'm more than an Ansary. I've never met an Ansary, that's my dad's side of the family, anyone remotely like me. Nor my mom's side of the family, the white side, being half Afghan, half white in this crazy culture. So I really realized that I'm me because of me. Not because of my parents, not because I'm from Portland, Oregon. And so we come back full circle to the theme here of exiting the box, exiting the matrix of duality. You know, the grand lie that you think you know someone because you're so smart. You know those Afghanis over there. You know those Iraqis. You know people from England. Oh, yeah, you know they're terrorists over there in the Middle East. So Barack Obama knows what he's doing. I mean, the Predator drone's got to shoot someone. There's an overpopulation problem. I mean, people actually believe these things, absurd things about the world. So they vote in misleaders that continue the same old agenda because they don't want to believe that it's so. I'm here to tell you that it is so. That we are living in really, really crazy times. And there are good people all over the place, and we can't stay stuck in some of the perceptions that we've had in the past. Because I do believe that we are going through a shift in consciousness. And I want to now segue into what a shift in consciousness means to me. And a shift of consciousness is not a reality where nothing bad happens on the planet and you just float on up and start hanging out with Ashtar and the Galactic Federation crew. What's up, yo? Oh, the New Age Ascension. Yeah, I heard about it my whole life. I don't think it's going to happen that way. I don't think you're going to get rescued out of the world that you were born into for a reason. Your reality is here for a reason. It doesn't mean that this reality is the only reality. In the greater scheme of things, this reality is an illusion. It's a holographic, collectively generated reality, but we're in it for a reason. With clearly definable, demonstratable, documented evil that's organized, that works through our government structures. So we have free will. Do we want to serve that system, or do we want to turn the New World Order on its head and join the real organic resistance that cannot be stopped by standing armies? No army can stop an idea whose time has come and the ideas are rising. Think outside the box of Occupy Wall Street. Think outside the box of Occupy Portland. Although these movements are a reflection of the shift in consciousness. People decide they're not going to participate with these banks anymore. The best aspect, the most powerful aspect of the Occupy movement has been those individuals that have allowed themselves to get arrested by doing the right thing and going into Chase Bank, going into Wells Fargo, but mostly Chase. Chase, that's right, Chase with the Nazi swastika, and demanding to close their accounts. We've also seen arrests in Dallas, Texas several weeks ago. There's been a lot of arrests pertaining to the Occupy Wall Street protests. And I want to make a quick comment on that, even though we're not primarily focusing on news in this episode. But you saw how, Mayor Adams in Portland and other mayors, when Occupy Wall Street was getting a lot of positive exposure from MSNBC, a little late, I might add. So as all eyes were on the Occupy Wall Street protests, you saw a lot of police stand down because the cameras were on them. The focus was on them. What are the police going to do? Plus, a lot of the police that aren't completely demonic and corrupted, they don't want to look like the cops in New York. They want to distance themselves from that ridiculous, childish behavior. Beating up women, grabbing women's breasts, pulling them by the hair, dragging them across the street. That is like domestic violence that's been legitimized in today's society. We saw it on TV in New York City. But I gotta say, in the last week or so, we've seen more or less more arrests, more camps that have been attacked by police. We've even seen chemical weapons used in Oakland, California, because the focus hasn't been as strong as it was in the past, say several weeks ago, on the part of the media, so the police think they can get away with this. But the shift in consciousness, again, coming back down to that, is happening in so many ways, in so many different nations, in so many different languages, a whole new way of looking at the world, and it just so happens to coincide with the peak of the solar cycle. We've seen shifts in consciousness, also world wars in the past, and we've seen a peak of solar activity. By the way, in 2013, about a year from now, a little over a year, we are going to see a peak in solar activity. And so I think that's going to be a time where we're going to see a lot of challenging things in our world. The idea is to understand that we have to get outside the box of the way we've been seeing the world up until this point, and that we are seeing a shift in consciousness, and other people are awakening to ideas that we may not understand at the moment, but we may later on. If we seek to understand the awakening that others are going through, and I'm speaking for myself as well, to take a parable from Zen Buddhism, we must empty our cup. We must empty our cup in order to receive new information. I think this is key. And so we have to understand we're waking up the pieces of information, but it's going to manifest in different ways. Where a lot of the mainline spiritualists, the New Agers, don't seem to understand, but over time they will be forced to understand for their own real, true evolution on this earth, or from this earth to something higher, that change comes through the experience, in many cases, of great chaos. Who goes to the dentist? Do you go to the dentist without feeling some sort of pain in your teeth? Some do. Some actually do. Not everyone. The majority of the population, including myself, that doesn't have dental insurance, doesn't have really a way to afford something like that. I'm not going to go to the dentist unless I have to. Now, a lot of people aren't going to change their ways on this earth unless they have to. So the shift in consciousness, which is taking place right now, we're seeing many interesting things in the news, conversations about comet Elenin, solar activity, galactic alignments, 2012. It happens to correlate with great challenging times on earth, where this wicked system that I and others have talked about, it's seeking to manifest the Armageddon script, the in-game scenario, the final battle. The Knights of Darkness are about to be unleashed upon the villages of the world. And in these dark times, in these times of war, times of chaos, times of invasion, times of economic collapse, humanity gets the opportunity to look at its own fecal matter. In the next great earthquake in Portland, Oregon, that will be well above a 9, your sewers are going to almost literally explode, and you're going to have quite a mess in downtown Portland, Oregon. I see that as a metaphor for the fact that in reality, our you-know-what stinks enormously. And we have to look at our fecal matter, if you will, very closely and figure out how are we going to change this reality? How are you going to compost that reality? How are you going to mindfully walk through the world that we have to walk through without giving up? Without giving up. Without succumbing to ridiculous belief systems like, I really wish I could take the blue pill. Really? The blue pill? I don't want to know anything anymore. I want to go back to the way... You're never going to be able to go back, honey, to the way things were. I'm sorry. There's something about having to gut up to the fact that we're here now. We're not 1980 anymore. Hey, I love the 70s music more than anybody else. I love the 80s. Why? Because it takes me back. I love the 80s films. It takes me back to another time and place before 9/11, before they staged this event that resulted in millions of people from my father's country being murdered, genocide. Hell, I want to go back as much as you do, but we can't. We are only going forward. And we must realize this. We must realize our power. Our power lies in moving forward, driving through life mindfully, realizing we're the driver, that we have decisions, and it's that we have free will, that if we spend our whole lives looking in that rear view mirror, whether we're looking for a cop or afraid some bad man is driving us, and we spend our whole life in fear looking in that rear view mirror, we're going to crash into that wall that's right up ahead. And collectively speaking, we're heading towards that crash. I mean, we're sitting here trying to warn people, warn our mother, warn our